Peace, y'all. Welcome back. It's now episode 3. Still ain't canceled yet, so. I am your host, Mr. Hughes. Welcome to Front Porch Vibes. Today, I got Beloved with me. Some of y'all know her, some of y'all don't. She and I have been friends for a little while now. But more importantly, she's by my house like all the time, and we share a lot of laughs, a lot of jokes,
a lot of singing,
a lot of song making up, all of that. But this is my friend that I get to be goofy with, and I appreciate her for that. So, I don't know. You want to introduce yourself? I think it's apt. Before I start breaking this ice up, that introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Quinn, and I am known affectionately from Terrell as EAQ.
East African Queen.
Boom, 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 play. It's like, no.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, yo?
I don't know. But I'm just here. You probably see me on a few more episodes. Yeah, so let's get this thing started.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was important to have you on, because you're a mom of a young lady that's currently going through teenage life.
Teenage life.
And
yeah.
I just think it's always cool to talk to parents and understand what they might be what they might be thinking and how they might be taking approaches on being like a millennial parent, so to speak. Because I'm going to tell you, man, I have an 18-year-old, and, Terrell is, you think you know everything.
We all do, that's for sure. Like, we've never been there, and we've never done it. And it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, no, that shit is crazy.
I'll tell you my war stories later, but okay.
Definitely, like, one of the most trying times I've ever had. Like, nobody tests my gangster more than my children.
Oh, yeah.
And you know my kids personally, so you know the negotiator and you know the judge.
Oh yeah.
The little one, he's too little to actually be on his shit yet.
Okay, so you lost your ball?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
No, he threw it from like up there. Yes.
Oh, okay, he'll be okay.
It's gone now.
He'll be okay. Which actually brings me to my brief introduction of the title of today's show, which is well, I'll tell you what it is in a second, but we often have conversations time and time again about these young people and where the divide actually lies as to where we have disconnected with raising them and them thinking that we don't understand what they're going through. Also, we talk about parents who more times than none, here, this is your cup. Who parents more time, well, not more times than none, but there are instances where parents aren't necessarily the most hands-on and they let their children do what they want. So the title of today's show is essentially, why does your 7th grader need to wear a wig? I mean, do you want to provide some context for what that conversation about?
So, in one of our mini conversations, we were throwing, just ideas out there to see what would stick. And this wasn't even an idea. It was just in basic conversation. And actually, my daughter, just to give you context on her, she is a junior in high school right now. And she noticed that the kids that were in middle school were a lot younger than her, and they were wearing wigs. And she didn't understand. She's like, Mommy, why do they have wigs? Why do they have lashes? Like, you don't even want to wait until you're in high school for that. Like, why are you doing it so soon? And I was just like, that is, that's what their parents allow. I was like, me personally, me, I would never allow you to do that at that age because your hair is totally fine. Nothing's wrong with your hair. And quite honestly, like, her lashes almost reach her eyebrows. So she never had that problem.
So, okay. So she has the natural.
She has the naturally long lashes where even when she was younger as a child, like 5, well, I'd say maybe 7, 8 years old or whatever, people used to ask her, why does your mom let you wear mascara? And she's like, what is mascara? And it's like, those are her lashes. And but to allow a child to emulate an adult like that so young, and then you wonder why you have these men that are now looking at your baby like, oh wow, I like that, and then they try to promote themselves as being older than what they are, and because they're already what's that age, like 12, 13, 14, something like that.
So let me ask you, what is that enough?
Yeah.
One more. What is an appropriate age for young women to start wearing makeup? Or we'll start with makeup.
Okay, so for makeup, it depends, because it gets tricky, because if the kid is in dance for like those type of purposes, then of course you would put on makeup for like the performances, or like cheerleading requires makeup sometimes, and dance routines and stuff like that. So that sometimes gets to be younger than what it needs to be, but you know it's for the performance. But just to go out into the world, I think by the first time you should be putting on makeup is like maybe your like 6th grade dance or something like that, if possible. Maybe that's like lipstick, a little bit of blush, because you don't need much. Like, your face is pure. Like, you don't have any imperfections. You don't have like pimples on your face. You didn't start puberty yet. You know what I mean? So you're fine.
Wait, you said 6th grade?
Well, if they have that dance, well, maybe not 6th grade. Maybe so.
No, I just want to make sure I understand you. I don't necessarily disagree. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you're a dad too, so you have to bring in the guy aspect of, no, I won't let my daughter do that either.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I would say comfortably 8th grade.
If you guys are trying to wonder why I'm like tilted to the side, neither of the beverages that I'm pouring is sponsoring this show. So right now we just mixing gifted thinkers. At a later date, I will provide you the recipe, but you might have to pull up to church to find that out. And I'll let you know what church is at some point too. But you gotta stay tuned, man. I can't blow my load too soon.
Never want to. Never too much at once, you know?
Yeah.
Just gradually into it.
You're gonna learn that our conversation is rarely ever appropriate. Like, rarely ever appropriate. Like, doubling back to the matter at hand, or to the topic at hand, because it's like super inappropriate for us to be discussing adult themes while we're talking about children themes. So, or a child theme topic, if that makes any sense. So let's get that out the way.
Yeah, because we go off like. Yeah, we go off and then we come back, and then we go off and come back again. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely I'd say to wear makeup out the house would be about 8th grade, because at your 8th grade dance, because I don't see you needing a reason to even wear makeup in school. What's the point of doing that? Like, you're supposed to be finding out if you even have a facial routine at that age. Like, let me make sure I get this down pat, because at that point in 8th grade, now you're getting into puberty. And now, like, you get stress involved, puberty, school, everything is involved now, and then your face is like breaking out. And then we're not even going to talk about how these kids is out here wearing makeup, and then it's like, are you cleaning your brushes? That's a very important part of this process if you're getting into that world. But I just don't think that little girls, because to me, 7th grade, you're still a little girl. I don't think that you should be wearing any of that stuff. Like,
I concur.
Because your mom took care of you. If your mom, I'm not saying if your mom has or has not, but someone has taken care of you extensively for like the first at least 12 years of your life.
Or they should have.
Yeah, they should have.
Or they should have.
So, like, your hair should be thriving and nice and full. You know what I'm saying? Your face should be clear. You should be healthy.
Have you ever gotten a perm?
Yes, I did.
What are your thoughts on perms?
I stopped getting them, and I never allowed my child to get one. Because I saw how great you can get your hair straightened. And then it's like, why bother? But I mean, some people, that's their thing. They're like, I'm still addicted to creamy crack. I don't care what anyone says. And that's your business. And that's totally fine.
I think I'm asking from the standpoint, though, because I've read the report that said that.
Oh, yeah, the health factors of it.
Besides that, But essentially, like all of those advertisements were lies. Like none of the women that were advertised in the commercials or on the boxes actually received or got the perm treatment.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I think that's why I asked. And
They had a whole
they
press out.
They was straight lying to us.
Wow. And it's so crazy because like anytime I would go into like CVS or any type of those drugstores, and you know they have the boxes there or whatever, and then your daughter looks at that box and then she sees another cute little girl on the box and she's like, "Ooh, I want my hair like that." And some parents just give in.
For me.
Just for me.
Nah, they lied to us, man.
It really was a big lie.
Like, and it's unfortunate we spent our money with them, but I think it's a little bit more of a gut punch to know that they lied to us to sell us poison. Like, that's a whole nother conversation. That's about to take a whole nother turn. Let's just double back
down the rabbit hole, and I'm for it because I'm tinfoil hat community over here, so I'm with it.
So,
you know?
Parents, I kind of want to like gauge how you guys may feel in regards to this because it's obviously a sensitive subject in today's climate where we're dealing with an influx of human trafficking and child grooming. I was on my child's tablet last night. I shared it to my Instagram story, but I stumbled. My Carter comes to me and she's like, "Daddy, look what the kids are doing." And I'm like, and at first I'm so caught up in whatever I'm doing that I almost ignored her. You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Oh, Carter, just go sit down." But I'm like, whatever. And I look at what she shows me, and it was a little boy that was pretending to be a doctor. I want to say he was about 8, maybe 9 years old. And he was pretending to give a shot to another child who was pretending to be a police officer in his behind.
I was like, why?
Now, when I started the video, I purposely started it at the point that I did because I was like, I didn't want to show the part where the little boy's like, "So pull your pants down." And I'm like, "Yo, dude, like, I'm trying to understand, like, where it's okay to groom children or to like touch children or to."
It's never okay. Like, and then people are going to justify. They're going to be like, "Look, the Dalai Lama. Fuck that nigga." Like,
wait,
I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say all these words.
I mean, to be fair, this is an adult show. We're trying to. I'm gonna let my guests talk the way they want. That's just it. I'm gonna let my guests talk the way they want. This is my disclaimer: the thoughts, opinions, comments, caveats, inclusions, tidbits, and anything that will be deemed as such are solely views of Mr. Hughes, Front Porch Vibes, and is no association or has no association to nowhere that I work or that I might do business with outside of here.
You gotta give the disclaimer.
Nah, that's crazy that you gotta put that in there. But
I mean, you do for legal purposes.
Nah, for sure. Just in case somebody needs to. That's why I did the first episode. Like, I have a lot of my people that I've presented it to just to like, I used them as my visual mood board, and they came back like, "Dude, like you said in a couple of, like more than once, like you're not this, you're not that." I'm like, "Yo, dude, listen. Nowadays, everybody's trying to find a reason to cancel you. They're gonna be like, "Dude, his shirt says girl dad and not non-binary dad, so cancel him." Like, I'm not here for that. You see what I look like, so you know what I identify as. You hear how I speak, so there's no confusion or misconception as to where my thoughts and opinions might lie. I was a lot more articulate the previous episodes because of the fact that I needed to get that out there. I needed to get the public apologies out the way to let y'all know that I was sincere in it also. And if I would have approached it from this standpoint, you probably wouldn't have perceived it or received it the same way, if that makes any sense. But now that we're here, I'll tell you something. I told you before, I drop F-bombs like it ain't nothing. The train passed about 4 times already, and I just said fuck in my mind about 5 times. With that being said, I don't know why the fucking Dalai Lama wasn't canceled when the shit happened. Like, we're now, wait, we could back up for a moment also. I ran across a report that showed that there are a number of politicians. I won't specify which side, and I encourage anybody that really is invested.
The same bird.
Look, the same goddamn bird. It's Big
Dirty
Bird. Big Bird.
From the Dirty Bird.
Essentially, both there are a number of people that do subscribe to pedophilia and child grooming. I've seen reports I've seen interviews on Twitter where people have known about Jeffrey Epstein. They've known about his dealings. They know about who he's dealt with. I'm not certain what we're paying attention to right now, and I'm more concerned with the idea as to where exactly do our priorities lie. We secure our bank accounts, and my brother pointed this out to me. Rainwater, I'm thinking about you, bro. Just to let you know. He pointed this out. He said that parents and people as a populace secure their bank accounts better than they secure their children. If the government right now told me that it was $100 million annually to make sure that every school in America was safe, and that there was going to be a task force that was formed to monitor online child predators, to monitor, so there wouldn't have to be a show like To Catch a Predator. Like, somebody had to do it for entertainment purposes before it was like a real thing.
That's so ridiculous.
I think
That's so disrespectful. Like, what? Like, we are catching your neighbors. Like, it's the same people, and it's just, it'd be random people. It's so sad that we live in a world that's like that. Like, I would say this as like a blanket statement. I would say that America is a big mental health crisis, and no one wants to acknowledge it until enough white people have succumbed to whatever the drugs that were prescribed to them. No one wants to go to the root cause of everything. They just want to say, oh, you guys are on opioids, you're on this, you're on that. Let's just let the world know that we're concerned.
That's fair.
And that's where it stops.
That's a fair assessment.
Because a lot of those people who are predators, who are into that lifestyle, because it is a lifestyle, because they're trying to include themselves in the alphabet community as a letter, and the alphabet community is like, whoa, player, that's a little too much. We don't do that over here. Those people were probably touched some way. Someone probably came at them when they were younger, or said, this is how you do, and this is how you operate in the world, because it's always worked for us. Because think about it like this, way back, like, let's just say even before we even came over here, or anything like that, girls would be sold off.
As soon as they got there.
As soon as they got there, period. So back then, we're talking 12-year-olds.
Right.
And even some states now.
Michigan, Illinois. I think Illinois right now is still 16 with consent.
I think North Carolina is still 12.
North Carolina. I think Arizona at one point in time it was 13. It's
mind-blowing that it's still like this. And also Jim Crow passed. I have read that somewhere. I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Them people couldn't wait till that bill expired. They was probably like, yes. But that's another episode, another day, another topic. Actually, topics, because that's A, B, C, D, and he got to go to work.
Yeah, so we'll be out here for hours.
Back to the wigs, because we're gonna go left.
It's not just the wigs, though.
It really isn't. It really isn't, because it starts somewhere. It's like, why do you want your kid to look older? The only time, I would say, the only time that there's an exception of your child wearing wigs is if they had cancer, they've been through chemo for whatever reason, and they have alopecia. That's honestly the only time that I would be like, you know what? Yeah, we're going to go and get a wig. If you want to wear one, that's your business. You don't have to wear one. You can just be free in who you are. But if you want to go that route, that's totally fine. I myself have alopecia. I've had it all my life. So I understand that dynamic of how your hair, thanks, Koba.
Sit down.
How your hair is like a vital part of you. And I learned that very early on. Growing up in, 80s, 90s, like, it wasn't a thing to wear wigs. What? I'm not looking like nobody's grandma.
When were you diagnosed with alopecia?
Probably like 3.
Okay, so you've dealt with that your
entire life. Yeah, entire life. As a young kid, it didn't really hit me until maybe like middle school, because when I was growing up, middle school was 7th and 8th grade. Like, I'm still in the same town. Now, middle school here is you stay in your elementary school till 7th grade, then you go to a different school for 8th grade, then you go to the high school. So for us, it was we went until 6th grade, and then we went to a different school for 7th and 8th. So growing up at my primary school, everyone knew me. So everyone knew, oh, Quinn doesn't have eyebrows. It's nothing, like, oh, well, whatever, it's fine,
Right.
Totally fine.
Right, they weren't being mean kids.
Right. They were just like, oh, okay, that's your thing.
That's dope. That's dope. That's what I was asking too, to like try to gauge if in fact like children were being like mean to you, and because that's also a thing, man. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, that could be their ammo. But I think like back then it wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? And I was like the rarest one. I was the only one.
right.
So it was just like, oh, whatever. But once you get to middle school, now you're getting 4 other schools, elementary school kids are now at the middle school, plus my school of kids that I'm used to growing up with, and now everyone's looking at me like, she don't got no eyebrows, she don't got no eyebrows, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And yeah, it wasn't that bad, I would say. Maybe it got worse in high school. It's like, oh, you don't got no eyebrows. Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, at that point though, I think I probably, I'm not 100% on this, but if I had to like guess as to why that takes place, it's younger people not being secure with themselves, and it's like projection.
It is.
Sometimes they be angry as shit, and like
right.
making someone else feel bad makes them
They
feel better.
Yep.
So, because shit, I used to get talked about. They used to tell me that my lips were too big, that my hands were too big. Like, I didn't grow into nothing until
an adult.
Like 25.
An adult.
I was still lanky as hell.
So understand this, young brothers and sisters. Just because you are a certain way at your age that you are in your teenage life, just know you will grow into yourself.
Please do not subscribe to body dysmorphia.
Don't go into, I need to get this wrap, I need to do this, I need to do that. You are totally fine. It's called life. And if you feel like you got a gut, a fupa, whatever you want to call it, guess what? You like to eat.
I'm gonna tell you something too.
You like bread. Bread is amazing.
Real rights. Real rights don't care about fupas. We don't care about that.
Guys don't care about that.
No, we don't care about that. But with that, I also feel that it's important to say that this isn't just specified to women or young women in wigs. This is for young men in Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty, and I think like the overall point is slow down, bro. Don't be so fast to grow up.
Don't be fast to grow up.
Because being an adult, this shit is ghetto.
It's a hard smack in the face, because I feel like our parents would not allow us to know what was going on with grown folks' business. We were told to leave the room.
Shit is ghetto.
You couldn't hear the conversations, and then once you became the adult and you started paying your bills and you started, fending for yourself basically, then your parents are like, hey, wasn't easy, is it? And you're like, what?
Oh, grandparents.
Why?
Grandparents of, what are we, Generation X?
I don't know what generation.
I'm
like right on the cusp.
Okay, so we're going to do this. Grandparents of 80 babies, or grandparents who've had children who are 80s babies who now have children, and your grandparents.
Oh, those are the boomers. The boomers are, y'all boomers?
Pardon my ignorance, but I'm going to say this. The grandparents, y'all got an episode dedicated especially for y'all too, because y'all getting off light, bro. Grandmama got to have a life too. Granddaddy got to have a life too. I get it, but y'all getting off light. We going to get to y'all one day too, because there's plenty of times where I recall being by Big Mama house. And we ain't call it Big Mama, but y'all, that's the most relatable. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where Grandma's house was. And we spent the entire Saturday. Or whatever. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But the fact of the matter is this.
Don't rush life, okay? Don't rush it. Enjoy every moment of it. I was having a conversation with my daughter the other day. She even said it. She was like, this went very fast. She was like, I remember I wanted to be in high school so bad, and now it's almost over. I said, I told you, those 4 years go by very quickly.
Were you popular in high school?
I wouldn't say I was popular. I was known in high school. Like, people knew me. You know what I mean?
Fucking trapezoid in high school, bro.
Well, I guess you could say I was one of the cool kids. I mean, I played sports.
I mean, I did.
You know what I'm saying? I played sports. I was always into sports. So, like my freshman year, I was a cheerleader. I did cheerleading freshman football and basketball season, and I ran track. I ran track all 4 years. I did cheerleading all 4 years. And then I was the fucking PA announcer senior year. So niggas hurt.
Lit.
And so, you know,
it was lit.
Barely making it there.
I mean, listen, bro. It was high school was rough for me. I was questioning myself. Like, I remember, like, I told you I used to get talked about for my appearance and me not growing into my appearance yet. So there used to be times I used to write, like, the letters, do you like me, yes, no? And, like, that maybe box would come back. Like, bitch, that wasn't even a fucking option. The fuck? How the fuck you just make a third option type shit?
Just gonna add this one.
Yeah, it was, high school was a rough time, but one thing that I will say is that I'm thankful for being on punishment as much as I was, because that shit saved me from being, like, outside more than I already was. If I was outside sooner, I'd have got caught up a long time ago. I'd have got caught up a long time ago, and I guess, like, that was my mother's way of keeping me in the house. Like, granted, sometimes my punishments were warranted, but I remember one time I was on punishment for like 6 months, bro. I remember it was like November, and my peoples was like, yo, you're on punishment for the rest of the school year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough, bro.
But at least you had the summer. That's
what?
It's different being on punishment in the summer versus being on punishment during the school year. You still left the house.
Yeah, but I wasn't.
You couldn't go. I mean, yeah, you couldn't go nowhere. You couldn't do nothing outside of school. Yeah,
I couldn't really leave a block like
that. Hey, if you can go in the front, if you could go on the front porch, your friends can still come to at least the steps.
Which is interesting that you even say that. So, furthering the reason why I named this show Front Porch Vibes is through the points of where I lived. A lot of my time, and when I grew up in Prospect Park, we didn't have a front porch at first until we moved like down the block, and then we had a front porch, and I spent so much time on it. But now that I'm older, I think about the times that we spent on that porch that we didn't own. Front Porch Vibes is a play off of home ownership. I know a lot of us might be afraid of, or might be, listen, that shit is a big monster. It's a big monster to look at and to fight, you know what I mean? But we don't matter in this country unless we own anything. The property taxes that pay the police, that pay the fire department, that pay the Board of Education, that pays the teachers, and essentially the political campaign contributions and things like that, these all come from like the homeowners in the town. People who rent, I'm not saying that they don't care, but they're caught up in what they want to do with their own thing. So this is like a subtle nudge to go own you something. Even if it's not a house, go get you a townhouse. If it's not a townhouse, go get you a condo. But go get something, man. Like, go get something, number one, that you're going to leave to your babies, so that the idea that they have of success is the real idea. The idea that I grew up with what success was to go to school, go to college, get a good job, and retire. That'd be the end of the story. If I'd have told my mother that I wanted to earn a living playing video games in the 90s, she might have laughed at me. Now
everybody would have laughed.
Everybody would have laughed. And I'm not saying that this is I'm not making this a play on my mom. I'm just saying, though, parents in that age would have been like, video games rot your brain, right? Which essentially the wrong video games will. But video game developers and testers and things like that, they make almost as much as physicians, if not more.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The idea that we have a success is skewed. This show is proof that you can do anything you want to do. I was just having a conversation with my homie about, you know, it ain't over till it's over, man. Walt Disney didn't get rich until he was 52 years old. Like, to where we knew who Walt Disney was. I'm not saying that it should take, and it sucks that it might take that long, but sometimes what we don't notice, what I didn't notice, is that the times where the success isn't visible is because you're in school. And if you're in a position to where you're receiving information or you're learning how to do something, and number one, you're not coming out of your pocket for it, you're blessed. You're blessed because in life, lessons are taught and many are bought. And I'm tired of buying mine. And I don't want young men to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, my city, Paterson, New Jersey, is fucked up, man. It's fucked up, for a lack of better terms, from any aspect that you want to look at it, from a community stabilization standpoint, or just even caring about the garbage that's on the streets, to the educational system, to the judicial system, and the lack of melanin within the police department. I don't know. Well, I do know. I'm not going to say that I don't, because I do know why black men ride past the courthouses and there's like this unspoken fear or this unspoken uncomfortability that like falls over us when we ride past, and we think about all of the friends or us that might have been affected during that process, man. But there's no reason why we're not teaching our babies to be law clerks and to actually be within the judicial system, so that when people like us show up in court, we could look and see that there's another face, and we could be a little bit more confident in our cases, especially when they're cases where they're minor and we plea out of them, or we plead guilty to them because we're nervous or we're afraid of going to jail, or there's nobody there to be like, listen, this is the maximum that you can get, but if you assert yourself in a professional manner within the confines of the law, this might work in your favor. I think that there's nothing wrong with our children looking up to performers and entertainers, but we need more engineers. I'm fascinated with like architecture and shit like that. Like, one thing I will say is that I remember one time my mother said to me, "Go learn how to use what is it that architects use, the CAD systems or something like that." This is like before it was even a big thing, and I was just like, but I don't even know if she knew how to like direct me. Like, son, listen, this is what you
Right.
go do.
Then you have that part of it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is also something that I'm gonna address in later in the episodes too. Like, some of us 80s and 90s babies, we gotta give our parents some grace, because not having access to information is just as bad as somebody hiding it from you. And I think that we got to give them some grace, man, because I'm almost certain that 85% of the black parents out there, if they knew how to put their children in a position to where money was not even a concern, and they knew how to invest in life insurance, or they knew how to use money as a tool in which it's supposed to be, like, I'm almost certain that they would. For any parent that wouldn't, like, you got to be one of those parents that like deliberately hurt your kids, neglect them type shit. Like, I don't think like you would purposely keep the tools from success or for success from them. Am I making any sense? Okay. I don't know. I'm a little buzz, so
Well, you know, once you start going, you start going.
I find it weird though, man. Like, I see.
You got to understand also with, as you were saying, with giving the parents grace. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay. Well, this conversation, go ahead.
So with giving them grace, you also have to understand they were the first in their family to live through some shit in their family. Like, some of those parents lived through the riots. Some
Right.
of those parents, they were the first to use technology. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were the first ones to have the computer at work.
Bro, I remember when we first got
Right. So you remember that
the
part.
compact
And
Presario.
so once they started getting technology, and then once we came around, now technology is coming like this quickly, very quickly. Like, how fast is technology has changed since we've been alive. We've come from the brick cell phone. We remember the brick cell phone. The kids won't. Not the flat Nokia, however you want to pronounce it. The big long joint, the wide rectangle
Oh,
joint.
niggas with money had that.
Yeah.
I wasn't lit yet.
Right.
My first
exactly.
phone
But we
was,
remember all of that.
My first phone was the voice stream joint. It
no
might have been
idea.
OmniPoint. I don't know which one was first. OmniPoint and voice stream. I think it went OmniPoint, voice stream, T-Mobile.
No, it was something before T-Mobile. Because I've been with them for a long time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Michaela probably was like 2, something like that. I've been with them for some years.
Yeah, nah. I remember those
it was
phones,
like
man.
Telecom or something like that.
Something like that.
And then they dropped whatever the N and just left the T. The other company.
Because T probably stands for Telemobile Communications.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
For anybody that's watching this, if you are like me, who might not necessarily be at odds with your parents, but you don't necessarily have the best relationship with them, I'm not telling you that for whatever fuck shit they might have did, for lack of better terms, because while I'm asking you to give them grace, like, they still did some shit to us too. Again, I'm not singling out my parents. I'm talking about, am I bugging or am I bugging? Like,
no, because everybody has something with their parents, and you're like, damn.
Whether it was emotional abuse, whether it was actual physical abuse, sexual abuse.
Not even all of that. You could even have a verbally abusive parent.
Right.
Who just says some shit off the wall all the time.
You look like your father. Like, you look just like your father. Get out my face. What you want?
I thought you said he was fine.
For the record, my mother didn't talk to me like that. I don't.
We do a lot of hypotheticals, so you would just kind of have to hear the hypotheticals.
Bro, it's not even hypotheticals, because this hypothetical situations is like, what if it happened?
Yeah, that does happen.
Like there's grown-ass men who are fucking killers right now because of how they were fucking treated. Like, yes, there are some that came from great households and still decided to be pieces of shit in society, bro. But, like, there are grown men and women who are running around here because they weren't hugged enough. And I'm not making no excuse for them. But if you were to go to a therapist or a psychologist, or even when you watch the movies and you see how the villains are made, it generally comes from them looking for love in the wrong places, from places, or the place should have been their nucleus.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's always centered around there.
You know what I mean? And
when you think about it, it's like, okay.
The family dynamic needs to be redesigned.
Mm-hmm.
That's the perfect word for it. It needs to be redesigned. When's the last time you've been to a family reunion?
Oh, that was probably, this is 2023. Let's see. So that is what's 12 minus 23 is what?
Beloved is doing PIMDAS right now.
I don't want to use my fingers. I'm sorry. I still use my fingers when I count. I'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So 2011?
Yes, 2011.
And that's fucking ridiculous, bro. Because niggas go on vacation.
It is ridiculous, and I just think I missed a few other family reunions, maybe because for me, I didn't reach out. Which is, you know what I'm saying, I gotta call it how it is. It's still a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? The information wasn't given to me, and I did not reach out to find out if they were even having one. You know what I'm saying? So I did go to one. It was on my dad's side. I had a really nice time. Like, the only people that knew me were like my sister, my niece, and my nieces, and my nephew. And that was like it. Well, some of the older aunts and cousins. But
let me ask you this: at the family reunion, were there like the little cliques?
You saw the cliques. I definitely saw the cliques. And then my niece was like, yeah, this one does this. This one, you know what I'm saying? Like calling them out. I was just like, yeah, you know.
And see,
that's what it is. They was like, who is that? They was like, that's your cousin. They were like, oh no, it's not.
And see, like, that's what I mean by the redesign, bro. Like, my last family reunion I actually had last year.
I remember.
The times before that, they had in New Orleans, because that's where my peoples are from.
Okay.
But it was always some weird shit. Like, they had it during, like, hurricane season. And I was, I'm not going to have fun. And I'm like, yo, I hear that. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
oh, wow.
Now I got to get back to Jersey.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, that's somebody's probably watching and being like, yo, bro, that's not an excuse. But the reality of it is that I think that family reunions, when they are picked, they should have like a committee and it be like on neutral ground to where it's like.
Oh, yeah. So I know, like on my dad's side, what they were doing, like I found out that they did, was that they're all over the place, right? So they'll have it in a city, and then everyone comes to the city, and then the next year it's at someone else's state. You know what I'm saying? So whoever lives in that state, they can still make it if they can't make it out to like Jersey or Florida. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere else, they'll be able to still come because they're in the state.
My question is, why we ain't meeting at the big house and having the shit on the property? You know what I'm saying? Like who got the property, and if no individual has the property, why can't the people who got money in the family get that property so that every year, Thanksgivings, Christmases, Juneteenth, whatever, we could have like our picnics and gatherings here. Again, we're not asking for the people that can't afford it, or that can barely afford to survive now. We talking about the ones, the family members, or the rich aunties and the uncles that you only see at the family reunions, and when they pull up, they got the big bodies, everything, big body, everything. That's my question. Like, at what point do we be like, yo, you know what? Fuck all of this. Fuck giving money to the yo. We had our. I'm not gonna badmouth any place of business or any venue. I'm not gonna do that. But we had our family reunion at a hotel, and I think they spent like 20 grand for like 2 days, bro. The food was... Really? He's not even bothering y'all. Y'all just going off. Like, but this is again adding to the authenticity. I'm not even air quoting it because we outside. What was I just talking about? I'm sorry, the dogs threw me off.
They will keep threw me off too.
Damn, they just fucking threw me off.
Having like the one big house and how much they spent on 2 days.
Right. So we was in the hotel, and I think it was like 20 grand for like the grand ballroom, for the totality of all of the rooms rented. But they didn't even like give us anything extra. We didn't even get a t-shirt out the bit. And again, my family, if y'all watching, I love y'all. Y'all know me. If y'all really got smoke, like we go in the backyard and tussle. I love y'all. I'm not talking about y'all. But this is just re-emphasizing the idea that we need our own shit.
Yeah, because if you could pull together
20 bands
that fast.
20 bands?
You could definitely get a big ass house somewhere with like enough land with a second house in the back, and then everyone just stays there, or then if you can't stay in the house, then you just have to go get a hotel.
Yo, so
you know what I'm saying? Like if then it comes to that.
What was the name of that beach in California that the black family just got back?
And they gave it back.
They sold it for $20 million, bro. I'm like, yo, that's robbery with no pistol.
Beyond robbery.
That's like, robbery with no pistol, bro.
That's $20 million in like.
They had a beach.
They'll make that in 6 months.
They had a beach property with houses on it. With houses, more like it was like a community.
Like you had all of that, and you could kick all of them out. Get off my land.
And look,
you gotta go.
I'm not even going to approach it from that aspect because the reality of it is that there are so many individuals that get on these podcasts and they get on these public platforms and they come from a place of like talking about it. And they're like, oh, well, y'all fucked up, blah, 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 this, and the third. So I'm going to approach it from this. If there is something that I'm missing as to why this isn't happening or as to why the other thing is happening, I invite you, please, come talk to me. Because I'm starting to understand that. And I understand what shit costs. Yo, my neighbor's dogs.
Wild.
Wild. They got like 7 schnauzers. It's so crazy. How do you have 7 dogs in one house? I don't know. But
With
again,
like 5 people. Right?
with 5 people. But
that's their thing. They make it work.
Again, I'm not coming from a place of judgment. I'm coming from a place of more so curiosity and intrigue. I'd rather, nah, for sure. I'd rather you explain to me why, as opposed to me, hey yo, come on. It's not even that serious. My dog ain't even paying you attention.
He's putting on a show. They just, asking him to do tricks. Probably.
Listen, man. I honestly think that we could essentially be out here for hours talking about this and how this conversation will go from one to the next, to the next subtopic
this
of
is
the main topic.
Literally every single time.
Yo, I love you forever, yo. Know that.
Seriously.
Know that.
That's really interesting because the way that we met, it was through mutual friends. And the mutual friends that I met him through was through church. They are my church friends, my church family, my church sisters.
P, I love you, P. Like, know that, bro. If you don't know nothing else, know I love you, bro. Straight up.
Seriously, she's the bomb.
Nah, we're just bomb, P. Like
she's your go-to girl. She is the owner and design director of Fifi Deer. She's an amazing event curator. She doesn't just plan and style events. She curates your whole vision, and that's what she does. She does a very good job at it.
She does that.
And I actually help out from time to time, and yeah, she's amazing. She's your go-to girl, honestly. So check her out on Fifi Deer.
Spell it, because people are gonna probably be like F-E-E-F-E. What is Fifi? Isn't it F-E-I?
Yeah, F-E-I.
F-E-I-F-I? Actually,
I feel like I'm missing a letter. Don't kill me. That's why I tried to slow down.
Listen, the next time that we come back, we'll have that information for you. But
I feel bad because I work there.
I mean, it's all good. The fact of the matter is, we're all about. It sounds so cliche, but I've been a proponent of giving people their flowers while they're still here. I don't even call it giving flowers. Where I'm from, we call it showing love. Right. You was right? F-E-I? F-I?
Yeah.
So it's at F-E-I. That's F as in Foxtrot.
So it is actually an acronym.
For
flawless events, interior design, florals, and intricate vines. So
you know what?
If you know my sister,
I fucks with P, bro.
That is why I said that she is a curator.
Nah, she does that
of
bro.
Events.
She does it.
And her expertise exudes like it. She just glows, honestly, when she works. I mean, it's a pleasure to work with her. The whole team is amazing. Brandy's amazing. Jean's amazing. Jessica's amazing. I mean, everyone is amazing on the team, and we just get it done. And that's it.
I met P. P was supposed to teach me. Well, she wasn't supposed to. She did. She taught me how to sew.
But then how did you meet her, though?
I met her through a situation.
So, we could talk about it. It's a conversation.
We could talk about it.
So, he was dating or seeing. Let's say dating? Is that?
We could say dating, I guess. It's a more mature term.
Okay, so because we're adults.
Right.
We're 40s. Yes, I am 41. He was dating one of my church friends, and that is how she introduced him to P because P has always been into clothes, always been into fashion, always been into everything that you need, basically, from head to toe. Like she could, if she can't do it, she would find somebody that could do it for you.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, 9.7 times out of 10, she could do it.
Right.
So
She taught me how to sew.
Introduced him, and then he was in a fashion show one time. We had to have had jokes back there.
No, we definitely.
We had to have jokes.
It was me, you, Tova, Alyssa.
Yes.
Shout out to Alyssa. Listen to things.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another one. Shout out to my beloved, my girl dad jersey, bro. Like everybody be looking at me, they don't want to like compliment me, but shout out to Ron Ye. That's my boy Rennie. I call him Ron Ye because he's a 5th member of Boys to Men. Nah, but Rennie has come into my life, man, and I used to subscribe to colorism, and I purposely like didn't fuck with light skinned people because I was like, yo, these niggas is feeling themselves, boy. But like,
he gets such a bad rap.
But I love y'all, man. Like the way that you have come into my life and like just been instrumental. Just to like my kids being like, oh my God, Quinn is Quinn here. Where's Aunt Quinn? Why did she leave without saying bye? I didn't say bye to Aunt Quinn.
It's literally like that too.
Like from that to how you weren't my wife's friend.
We're Soros, by the way. That's
Right.
my soror. So
I'm married to Delta. The way that y'all became friends, because I'm not singling her out, but women need each other just like men need each other, man, and they need genuine friends, and I appreciate you for that. But Rennie is another one of my waffle complexion friends who he just does without doing or without asking. Like all I gotta do is call him and be like, yo bro, I need, and he's like, well, I don't know why you would need that, because actually you can solve this problem by getting this. And I'm just like, yo, fuck. Like, he knows so fucking much, but he's not wrong. And you gotta appreciate friends like that, man.
Exactly.
And it's important to let your friends know that you appreciate their friendship. Like, there's friends that I'll be like, yo, I love you, bro. And they just be like, word. Yo, matter of fact,
say it back.
Like, fuck you, my boy. How about that? How about that? That's how I feel. And I hate getting on that type of time, but that's how it be, man. Like,
but at the same time, saying it like that sometimes may catch people off guard. And sometimes
that's
people,
bullshit. We gotta get rid of that shit, bro.
If they've been doing it for so long, you can't expect that to change right away.
No, I don't expect it to change right away. But I am hard-headed and stubborn so much that I believe that I'm gonna go out my way to break that shit.
Yeah,
fuck that. I'm gonna tell my mother.
That is why we have the show. So,
it is
because there are other people out there that think like you. That have that same this has to stop, and it can stop here, and why it needs to stop here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not treating my kids like this.
So much would change if it just started with the black nucleus. Just the restructuring of the nucleus, or the molecule, so to speak. Once that changes, so much would change. We're now going to start thinking about how we eat and what we eat and what we shouldn't eat. And maybe we still going to eat seafood boils, but we ain't going to eat them as much. And we're going to eliminate chitlins from our diet.
Why do y'all still eat chicken feet?
I don't know. Nobody. Matter of fact, I'm lying. My grandmother probably still eats chicken feet. It's
sold in the store, so someone's buying the shit.
My grandmother probably still eats that shit.
Like, y'all really eat all the parts of the bird still?
Yo.
Y'all still eat cow's tongue? Why?
The elders, boy, will still crack the chicken bone right in front of you and eat the marrow right in front of you. Like, it's good. Like,
Like, you know that's nasty.
Yo, bro, you know that shit tastes crazy, bro.
the benefit of that
Nah, the marrow
for
is
you.
the marrow is good for your bones. From what I understand, it's a great source of protein. I could totally be fucking wrong. It could be cat, but from what I've read, the benefit of eating bone marrow is like that's where all of the nutrients and shit get like absorbed into when they eat and graze and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's essentially like that's the most nutrient rich parts of the animal, the bone marrow. It's weird as hell. But I'm starting, honestly.
Another drink.
Oh, normally you like, yo, fuck the gifted thinker tonic. You want some ice?
Yes, please. Definitely more ice. You can give me a lot of ice too, by the way.
A lot of ice is a girl's best friend.
But yeah, I don't want to start talking about food because I'll be ready to be like, and the cells, it's like you are a molecule, like a big ass molecule. You know what I'm saying? Your body is running off of cells that are working together. And if you're not feeding those cells stuff that it understands that it's supposed to process and feed off of, that's when the shit fucks up. They be like, oh, bitch, I don't know what the fuck this is.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm starting to lose the taste for so much.
Yeah.
Like, so this year has been the year that I've eaten the most fast food.
Ooh.
And that's primarily because of the pandemic and, you know, like not wanting to cook and all of the extraness and just life getting in the way. And it's like, oh shit, it's 9 o'clock. Like, it's easier to order something. But I'm starting to like taste the chemical on shit. Like, and it's just not even appetizing anymore, man. And I know a lot of people that get on camera and say that shit for cat, bro. But like, I'm starting to lose the taste, man. Ideally, even though I know it's not the healthiest, but if I could get like a chicken cutlet salad every day with like tomatoes and like golden berries and shit like that and craisins in my shit to kind of like balance it out, I would eat that shit all the time.
Guys can eat the same meal every day.
I'm not cutting pizza out though. It's quiet.
I mean, well, obviously you could add in stuff, but if it's one meal, guys will eat that same meal and be okay, totally fine. We come in and we be like, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that.
Just switch the meat up in the salad.
That's it. You can have salmon on that. You can have chicken on that. You can have lamb on that.
Calamari.
Lamb with blue cheese.
Yo, beloved. Chill, son.
And like, oh.
Chill, son.
Would raspberry ranch sound good though?
Raspberry ranch? I've never had that.
I never did either. I never heard of it. I just made it up.
Really?
Deadass. Just thought about that.
Yo, I'm gonna say this to you now as like a timestamp on what's today? The 13th. You are more talented than you know.
Thank you.
You are more talented than you realize, man. Oh, shout out to Pooh. I don't know why it just popped in my mind, but shout out to Pooh, man.
He's at Arts Meet. He's in Union, New Jersey.
Yeah.
He got his own studio space. It's an intimate studio space.
Really dope spot.
You can rent it.
Really dope spot.
Check them out.
I
Art Meets.
No idea how long we've been at this, but this is how our conversations run. Again, we thank y'all for pulling up with us again. This is episode 3. Why does your 7th grader need a wig? Which is just re-emphasizing the idea, let these children be children. This does not only pertain to young women, but this applies to young men. Don't rush to grow up. And parents of young people, keep re-emphasizing that shit more than y'all already are. Because I'm not going to discredit y'all and be like, nah, y'all not doing that. Like, re-emphasize that idea. Don't rush to grow up. I thank y'all for pulling up. As always, I'm going to leave the porch light on for you. This is Front Porch Vibes. I am your host, Mr. Hughes. THNK. As always, you are appreciated. I thank you for pulling up on me, man, and
Thanks for
agreeing to
having
do so.
me.
No, you're
Thanks for
always
having
welcome.
me.
I hope you guys enjoyed this, and until next time, I salute you all.